This week's episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast is proudly brought to you by Gunner Kennels. Engineered for your dog, designed for travel, and built for your peace of mind, the G1 Kennel has set a new industry standard and put Gunner Kennels in a category all its own. Gunner Kennels was started to protect your pet, and it continues to be at the center of everything they do. Gunner Kennels are dedicated to building the best and safest pet travel crate on the market. Man's best friend deserves man's best kennel. Check out their G1 series of kennels and accessories at www.gunnerkennels.com. You are listening to the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast, episode 115. This week on the show, we're checking in with Dan as he heads out to Oklahoma, and he sits down with the guys from FowlCo. All right, welcome to the 115th episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Palm, and we are your on-demand audio source for all things waterfowl and waterfowl hunting. Check us out at hpoutdoors.com. You can find our show where anywhere quality podcast content can be found. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the good places you can find our show. You can also find us across social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you're a Facebook user, you can head over to our Facebook listeners group. Check in with a bunch of listeners of the show. My co-host Dan Harushka, who would typically chime in right now, but as I mentioned in the roll-in, he's currently in Oklahoma, out there hunting with the guys at FowlCo and a bunch of other guys from around the industry. So we're going to check in with him and see how that was going and talk a little bit about the operation that they got going on out there. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the Ridge. The Ridge is a minimal front pocket wallet that's designed to let you ditch your old bulky wallet. Ridge wallet's slim, RFID blocking, and has a lifetime guarantee. It's the last wallet you'll ever buy. With two metal plates bound together by a durable elastic band, the Ridge looks nothing like a traditional wallet. Titanium, carbon fiber, and aluminum options ensures that there's something for everyone. Dan and I both use the carbon fiber, and we love it. Use the discount code HP Outdoors at ridgewallet.com to get 10% off and free shipping. Also, Lucky Duck. About the only creature that they can't deceive is you. Lucky Duck's more than a brand. It's a lifestyle built around the subtle art of critter deception. So while you're focused on the business end of your shotgun or rifle, know that they're completely focused on what matters most. You. Whether you're in the duck blind, dove field, on a predator stand, or chasing turkeys, they're confident that their products will help you succeed. Check out their full lineup at luckyduck.com and keep up with the latest news by following them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. 737 Duck and Goose Calls. Original design, select grade components, superior sound, and unparalleled service. 737 takes exceptional pride in producing the finest quality, best built premium calls in the market today. They're made in America and offered only direct to consumers through their website. Shipping in the U.S. is always free, and international orders are also now accepted online. A 20-day money-back guarantee and a lifetime warranty accompany every call purchased. 737 Duck Calls lead the flock. And Mustang Survival. Mustang Survival has been building inspired technical solutions for water rescue professionals, military elites, commercial mariners, and outdoorsmen for over 50 years. These serious marine users demand serious marine products. At Mustang Survival, they continuously obsess over three pillars: float, dry, and enhance. Check out their full lineup of gear at mustangsurvival.com. Also, quick thank you to Camp Chef. Guys, we say it every week, but please support the companies that support our show. If you're interested in supporting them, you can head over to the HP Outdoors website, check out the discount page, find out how you can save 10% off with Dunn Sporting Goods, 10% off with White Rock Decoys, 15% off with 737 Duck Calls, 15% off with Alpha Dog Nutrition, 10% off with Gunner Kennels, 10% off with the Ridge Wallet, 20% off Onyx Hunt, and 15% off Rec Specs. So lots of opportunity to save some cash if you're in the market for some gear. All right, this week we got a little bit of a different scenario going on. Obviously, as I mentioned last week, my wife recently had a baby, so I'm kind of hanging close to home right now, getting everybody settled in. And while I'm doing that, Dan was able to head out to Oklahoma and hunt with the guys out at FowlCo, and some other guys from around the industry are out there as well. I'm sure many of you saw across social media and Instagram and stuff this past weekend. what was going on out there. So really cool opportunity that Dan was able to take advantage of. I'm super jealous, and hopefully they decide to do this again and I can go next time. But unfortunately, I missed this one, but I'm super pumped that Dan was able to go out there and have an experience like that and hang out with a bunch of great dudes and really just get a lot of great information about a really class act organization that's going out in Oklahoma that's started up, and excited to bring those guys on the show and tell you their story and just find out about more of what's going on across the country in different parts of the U.S. and guys that are out there just doing it and working hard and chasing birds and giving clients and people great opportunities that they can take with them and keep forever. So excited to join those guys or have those guys join us on the show. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it out to Dan in Oklahoma as he sits down with the boys of FowlCo.
All right, guys, coming here from FowlCo. We are in Garber, Oklahoma, and the lights just went out. I don't know if we could turn them back up a little bit at all, but you got all that on your phone over there?
I'm working on it, bud. I will have it shortly, hopefully.
All right.
Text somebody.
So to my left, I have John David Blagg. Right in front of me, Josh Teff. And to my right, I have Aaron Seafritz. Fellas, how you doing?
Great, man.
Good. Fantastic.
We're doing great.
And
glad you're here, Dan.
Yeah. I was going to say, I want to start out by, thanking you for the invite. And I'm blown away by everything.
Wow.
Thank you. The place is incredible. The food is incredible. The people here, just a great atmosphere. And we're sitting around one of the poker tables in the upper part of the lodge. Got a bunch of big screens on the wall, and when you think about a duck camp, it's a heck of a duck camp.
Man, thank you. Yeah, we call this the sports bar.
Yeah. Everything's fully stocked. I want to start out. Y'all are in pretty good shape. Tell me, what is your favorite meal that you guys have here? If you had to pick one meal to eat every day coming out of that kitchen, because I haven't been here long, but whew, man, the food is top-notch.
You haven't had mine yet.
Fried chicken for me. But
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken for me, too.
Just hands
Brian makes
down.
the best fried chicken.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, it blows us away.
Yeah.
And that's the one meal I don't get tired of.
Yeah.
It's the only meal that I've eaten every single time he's cooked it all season long.
Yeah, the honey butter biscuits and the bacon gravy kind of set it off.
I tell you what, he made some duck. I don't even know. They're not poppers, just some duck and just some good. I'm gonna turn that down just a tad. Some duck with like teriyaki on it that everyone got to handle a little bit. Just really, really good, and everything comes out of their ribs and prime rib and cheesy corn and whoo, buddy.
Yeah,
all right.
The steaks are on time too.
Yeah, definitely top notch. All right, so let's talk about your guys' history a little bit. Where'd you come from? FowlCo seems to be the talk of social media everywhere, the whole building of this place. And I just want to know, what's your background? How'd you get here? How long you been hunting? How long you been guiding? How long you been working dogs? Just go ahead and
You want me to start?
yeah. So this is John. John started.
This is John David Blagg here, and man, I grew up getting to watch my dad do this. So really is probably when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. My dad was a duck guide pretty much throughout my college career, and so from a young age, I was kind of the little punk, I will say. I had to move sled blinds at 3 o'clock in the morning and put all the decoys and chase cripples, and I did all the dirty work. And but it really made me respect what my dad does and did in the off season. We farm mainly, but I really got to watch my dad interact with clients and build relationships that kept people coming back hunting with him for a long time. And obviously duck hunting was a passion of mine from when I was real little. So, So yeah, I mean that's kind of my background, you know.
Nice. Now, how long did he guide?
Oh gosh, I don't 25 years.
And this was in Arkansas?
Yeah, in southeast Arkansas. Yeah.
So is that more of a
we had a
timber?
lodge. We had a lodge called Delta Wings. Then he worked at a place called Prairie Wings.
Nice.
Yeah. So really, I got to hunt some really cool places, you know, growing up.
Right.
And I think when I was young, I took it for granted. And really, to be honest, coming to Oklahoma it's just totally different because I'm seeing stuff that I saw when I was a little kid that people aren't seeing anymore, like big groups of birds finishing.
Right.
And you know, I remember Josh and I, when we came over here for the first time, and the first duck hunt I went on, the first group was a group of like 500 mallards that finished at 20 yards. And I just looked at it and I was like, yeah, like this, like it all came back to me, you know, like
right.
when I was a little kid. So that's what's been really fun, you know, here. It didn't reignite a passion, but you know, it really just gave me a deeper passion, just because
it's right back to your roots.
Yeah, man.
And y'all are greenhead fanatics.
Oh yeah,
right?
All the way, man.
You see the widgeons or pintails, you see that green note, it's like, all right, game on.
My dad would always say, "Don't mess up a good mallard hunt." That's not really probably what he'd say, but you know, in my words. So.
Yeah, so this is Josh, and I have a kind of a different, you know, upbringing than that. I didn't hunt at all until I was in my middle teens, and I had a friend and actually two friends whose one of their dads invited me to go deer hunting, and I was the only one that shot a deer on the trip, and I was hooked. I mean, that's all I cared about from that point on, and didn't actually start waterfowl hunting till I was 19 or 20, and then you know, just kind of, I think we saw one bird the first day I went, but it was the sunrise and the decoys, and the guy I went with who took me he's actually Jeremy, my brother's brother-in-law now, and I was, you know, just taken aback by it, man. I just didn't kill a bird. I just loved it. and kind of my personality is when I really get into something, I'm all in, and I want to learn everything right now, you know. So I just when I started buying duck calls and messing with duck calls and just tried to master it as much as I could of every aspect of it. And then I, you know, over time built some relationships and got some new access to different places. And Harold, our other partner, he and I met in sometime around 2004, 3 or 4, somewhere in there. And we're hunting in Biomeda in southeast Arkansas, which is like, you know, biggest public flooded timber area in the country. And we hunted there up until about 7 years ago. We were there every weekend. He was there more than I was, but I was there every weekend. And then when I got the last job I was at, managing a private fly fishing and hunting club, I hired him to help me. And that's when I started guiding. And, you know, these guys came along about the time I needed to move on from that spot and do something different. And, you know, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, a little bit later. But, God above is why this place is here. Mm-hmm. That's, you know, our foundations are all the same. It's really hard to find 3 guys that are as like-minded as we are that don't get at each other. I mean, I don't think we've had a true crossword. Really not even, I don't think we've had a crossword at all, like not even a light one. And we've done a lot of stuff in a really short period of time.
Right.
And, you know, so it's a really cool story, and we'll go into that in a minute. But so that's kind of where I came from. My folks worked too much to take me hunting. I mean, my dad deer hunted a little bit, but it was very sparse. They worked all the time, you know, with making ends meet. And my dad taught me how to work hard. Both my parents did. And my mom, kind of like John Day was talking about, showed me how to build relationships and showed me the value in it. Watched them, you know, work themselves out of poverty with hard work and relationships. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we're very like-minded in that way.
And your brother's here.
He's here, yeah.
He's been hunting with us.
Yeah, and Jeremy has handled all of our, he's built our website. He's done our logo, all of our graphic stuff, everything you see that's graphic. My brother does it, and
Jeremy's a big part of this.
He's a huge part of what we've done. Yeah, marketing, branding, the whole nine.
And you were saying that you guys really didn't hang out a lot until you took him duck hunting.
That's
right?
it, man. That was the common denominator.
And you're less than 2 years apart, right?
Yeah, a year and a half, and he wouldn't go with me. I couldn't get him to hunt at all. He just thought it was stupid. And then same guy, who's now his brother-in-law, finally talked him into going, and it was the same deal. He fell in love. He never hunted a day in his life. And now, after that, he's like gung-ho and obsessed with it. And it was really cool because we started hunting together and built a lot stronger bond than we ever had when we were young.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's really cool.
Super awesome. Aaron, what's your story, man?
I originally hail from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, which is southeast Arkansas as well. And much like John David,
we call it L.A.
L.A. Two people made a big impression on me in my life as a hunter, and that would be my grandfather and my dad. My grandfather was chairman of the Game and Fish Commission in the 80s in the state of Arkansas. Which provided me a lot of opportunities to hunt a lot of great places there. And then my father's been a retriever trainer since 1976. So growing up in the middle of all that, it's no surprise that I ended up being a professional duck guide and a retriever trainer, just because those two things were kind of forced into my face at a really young age. I guided my first hunt, received my first dollar as a guide on the North Platte River in northeastern Colorado in 2003. I was going to Colorado State, and my degree's in outdoor recreation and tourism is what it's in. And so this, when I started college, was my goal in life. And what I told my wife on our first date I was going to do, what I wrote down on a piece of paper the very first day I started college that I was going to do. And I've been telling people a lot lately that I'm kind of a walking cliche. I'm that guy that was never going to work a day in his life, do something I loved, and do all those things a lot of people say they're going to do. I never quit. I never gave up on it. I just believed in it and knew that it was something I would do. And that very first dollar to hit my hand as a duck guide was a real aha, eureka moment for me.
Right.
There's a moment. I can still see that moment happening and realize that I could achieve something and a passion and take a dollar and support myself and support a family and work towards that. It was huge. After I graduated, I started working at a lodge called Wildlife Farms. It's a private area now, but worked there for 12 duck seasons, got a lot of hunts, built a lot of relationships. And when it privatized, it kind of opened up an opportunity to move a different direction and leave eastern Arkansas, come somewhere new where the birds are fresh and the hunting pressure was less, something to build upon. Land was cheaper. There's a lot of different reasons to move away from that and to come out here.
Right.
But, there's a lot of molding my life to work seasonally and find something to do the other 8 months a year, and a lot of strain on relationships and money and a lot of other things came along with it. But
right.
At the end of the day, I'm one of those guys. Just if you keep stepping in the right direction, believe in yourself, ultimately you can come to do something that you really love, like we're doing here.
Yeah, man. When you have that, when you know what you want to do and you're a go-getter, it's pretty hard to stop. So
it really is.
That's a great story, and something funny that you said. A lot of people say if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life, right? I'll tell you what.
It's true. Very, very true.
Okay, maybe for most people that guide waterfowl, if you're telling me that this ain't work, like, come on. I mean, late nights, early mornings, it's nonstop. You're out in the freezing cold. Like,
it's 17 hours a day. Yeah.
Dude. We have days where we go from 3:30 to 11 o'clock at night.
Every day too.
Every day.
But we don't get a breather. It's every single day.
But I'll tell you, man, like, Dan, this, like, when a group of ducks or a group of geese does it, it's like in fifth grade again.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's all the work's worth it.
Yep.
It never gets old. Never gets old.
It's that and seeing, like, I mean, it's that, but it's definitely, I mean, for me, it's seeing people's reaction to it. That's really what trips my trigger more than anything. Is like
my motto,
watching people's eyes when they do it. You're kind of just glance down and you see their eyes as big as saucers.
Big. Yep.
Yeah. My motto for guiding has always been that every day's opening day.
Yeah.
It's to somebody. Somebody's walking here, it's their first duck hunt ever, first duck hunt of the year is something, and so you have to carry that opening day mentality with you throughout the whole duck season.
Yep. And that's something that, Josh, the main host of the show, we always talk about. it's just like you get out there and, like you said, every day is opening day. If the guide makes or breaks the hunt, you can sit there and kill 60 or close to 60, whatever you guys did today, 50 or 60 ducks. But if you're in a bad mood or you bring that to the blind, you're not excited, that's not a fun hunt.
No,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have a fun guide and kill 3 birds than do that. So, props to you guys for just grinding. It is a grind. Grinding, having positive attitudes, and, we can go into how this place was built, but the way that you guys present yourself and walk around here, and, I mean, you're great dudes. You're,
thank you.
You're
so much.
buddy with everyone. I mean, you have this amazing place and so much to be proud of, and you don't walk around, big chest stuck out, anything like you.
No.
You guys are.
Well, buddy, that's real easy because we didn't do anything for this. The Lord laid everything out for us, and we can get into that in a minute. But another friend of ours is here, and we were talking about it last night. And that's what he said. He said, "Man, you ought to be really proud." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, we're proud, but like, we still are every day like, oh my gosh, like." This is really still happening,
right?
And it had nothing to. I mean, yes, we were driven, and we knew what we wanted to do, and we had a goal. But that's a goal. I mean, like this all coming together is a desire, which is something that when you talk about people booking, like they have, and the birds that we've had, that's like stuff that we pray for,
right?
Right. And it's out of our hands,
right?
So it's real easy. To get arrogant about something like this, but it's also really easy the way it came to go right back down and go, wow, yeah.
So let's put it out there. How did it come to be? After this, we can talk, differences in hunting and the whole learning curve. But what you came up here, saw the birds.
Yeah. So I was the last place I worked. Harold and I were guiding, and. Just east of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we had a really good spot, but it was a pretty controlled environment. We were scouting, one place. It's a big place, but we were scouting one place, and then I can't remember exactly. I want to say it was 5 or 6 years ago. We had a friend who was guiding out here, kind of guiding off and on, and I don't remember how, but we ended up coming out here on a hunt and came out and hunted a dry field, which I'd never done. Harold had done it and been to Canada and done it, but I'd never done it. And so we're sitting up on this dry field and shot I think we shot a dozen in the morning, but we were going to come back because my buddy was like, they haven't moved yet. Like, we haven't seen what's coming. We need to go eat lunch and come back. So we did, and I mean, I just never seen anything like it. I mean, it was like there's just bajillions of ducks everywhere, and they're coming from every direction. They're falling as high as you can see, and we ended up, I think, finishing out, most of it was like an 8 or 9 man limit, and I was like, this is unbelievable, because when you drive out here, you don't think waterfowl. It doesn't look like a place that ducks and geese are going to flock to.
Right.
So, I was like, well, we must have gotten lucky. We must have really been on the X that day. But then we go back and we're like, well, that was good enough. We're going to go try it again. And we come out here and hunted geese. I want to say the second time I came, it was like a Thanksgiving Day hunt with my family. We shot 94 geese. And my kids are in, we had my brother and his two boys and my 2 boys, and they're each doubled up in blinds. And I mean, I'm watching them. They aren't even shooting, and they're just like, see all these geese falling on them, and I'm like, this is unbelievable, And so then we kept coming, and every time we come, it was like consistent. And then I'm starting to think about, like, if I was ever going to do a commercial waterfowl operation, that's where I'd be.
Right.
Because I'd, kind of researched the area, looked up some other guide services, and there's some quality guide services out here, but nothing that was on the scale of some of the big outfits in Arkansas, which is what I knew.
Right.
So anyway. Like I said, the last, I was kind of at the end of my tenure with the last place I worked, and looking for something else to do, thinking about something else to do. Starting an outfitter was not at all on my radar because of the financing it would take to do it.
Right.
And, and then I'll let Aaron and John David pick it up from here, and they can tell you kind of what happened, and then I'll pick it up after that.
Well, plain and simple, my dad is kind of common denominator in a lot of this because he had trained dogs for John David's dad, and he had trained some dogs via Josh as well. So my father knew. I met John David on the beach 7-8 years ago in Florida, and we were neighbors. We actually lived down the road from each other. Our fathers knew each other.
We didn't know it.
Our first sentence out of my mouth to him was, "How was your duck season?" I took one look at him, knew he was a duck hunter, and we talked ducks. The minute we met, became friends ever since. And I knew he had a relationship with Josh, but over the years, people who knew my dream to do something like this would come up to me and ask me if I knew Josh, and they say, "Man, you and that guy got similar goals and dreams. Y'all like you should meet him and talk to him." I'm a big turkey hunter, and I can have a blackout moment when I turkey hunt. Turkeys are coming in on me, so I tell that part because to let you know how the moment happened, you know that there was turkeys real close to me at this moment.
They were coming in on string.
We were hunting a different part of Oklahoma, and turkeys gobbling all around us, and something hit me, I guess, like a bolt of lightning, and out of nowhere, I just popped up and leaned over to John David, who's sitting around the tree on me, and I said, text Josh Teff and ask him if he wants to go get a plate of barbecue with us on Wednesday. John David and I had been bouncing this idea around ourselves, and thought Josh might be the missing link to the whole thing. Stronger together, right. And we already knew that, and that's held true to this point. And we sent Josh a simple text message, had a plate of barbecue 4 or 5 days later, and then the wheels kind of got turning from that point forward for all of us, to the point we got a phone call from Josh probably a month to 6 weeks later, where he thought he'd secured the finances for us to go about it, and then it was pretty much full throttle from there to try to make it happen.
And it was just finding a place to...
This was the first piece of property we set foot on, and that was another God moment. Bolt of lightning hit, and standing here and looked across where we had the flooded cornfield behind the lodge now, and it just looked like the type of place that Josh in particular had always imagined. And I give a lot of credit to this lodge, the way it looks, and everything that's set up here.
I was going to say, who did...
Came between Josh's ears, all this
you
stuff.
designed
it's his
it?
vision.
Yeah,
he's the one with
most of it, and
the style.
Back to that story, though, real quick before we talk about that. So John David and I went to church together without knowing each other at all for a while. I mean, a couple years ago, I'd seen him at church, and for whatever reason, I didn't know him at all. I didn't know him from Adam, but I was just like, every time I'd see him, I'm like, man, that just looks like somebody I should know. Like he kind of looks like he's cut from the same cloth. We kind of look alike a little bit. Yeah. And I'd see him, and I'd be like, one of these days I'm going to run into him or something, but we never did. And then he has a piece of a coffee brewing company in Fayetteville, and I live just north of there, and that's where my brother lives. And Jeremy, like we said, he does graphic design, so they used my brother to do some work for their brand.
Okay.
And so he met him, and then out of the blue, we end up at the same barbershop one day, and it was the same deal. I'd had people ask me if I knew him, and I mean, he probably.
I always had people go, "You know Josh Teff?"
Yeah,
I'm like, man, you're like the 400th person that's asked me that, so I got to meet Josh Teff.
So we're in the barbershop. He walks in, and I'm like, "Well, there he is," and he looks at me, he goes, "You're Josh Teff," and I say, "You're John David."
How big is this town?
It was.
Oh man, I mean, there's a million people within a 50, 100-mile radius there.
Geez.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, it's
a lot of those towns run together.
Used to be small, but it's not anymore.
It was one of those moments we locked eyes, We're like, "You're Josh Teff," because you're John David Black.
That was good.
And that was it, dude. And then Josh asked me to come hunting over at Skelly, where he was guiding, and so I went over there with him. We hunted together. We jihad, and then we just got to be good friends. And Aaron, like Aaron said, we had been talking about doing this, and just where I see the Lord in all of it is the timing of all of this happening.
Right.
Like
I was going to say, everything just fell into place.
It's insane. And that's where I go back to. It's really hard to be arrogant, because we look at how it came together and we're just like, oh my gosh, of course, that's how it came together. But anyway, just the timing of meeting Josh, going to hunt with him, not knowing what was going on there in that situation with Josh's work. And this club that Aaron got at for a long time, and I got it part-time for a few years, that privatizing, and having relationships built there, and then through my dad, relationships built there. So it was just the perfect timing, man.
Yeah,
That's pretty incredible.
They were looking for something. I was looking for something. Aaron has this epiphany, and they call me and we have lunch, and there's several things that happened along the way that looking back could have completely derailed the whole thing.
Right.
And that's why we know, like I know in my heart of hearts that this is an ordained operation, and we don't, I don't ever, everybody says, man, you're you guys got to be really, John David said, you got to be so proud, and it's like, well, yeah, of course we're proud of it. I mean, who wouldn't be? But at the end of the day, it's not ours.
Yeah.
Like this place it's already proven to be a place where life change can happen. And that's above all else the most important thing to us. I mean, I know I'm speaking for both of them when I say that, like literally people's lives are being changed because of this place.
Yeah.
And the hunting is that's just the fun activity we get to do, and it's a passion, which makes it awesome. But at the end of the day, like watching lives get changed for the better and people, becoming better people because of it means everything.
Well, I will tell you, it's a incredible story. We did talk about it a little bit, just how it came to be, but just how everything fell in place is awesome. And you can tell that you guys are thankful for it, just the way you act, just the way you walk around, talk to people, and interact. And I've been with a few guides that they could care less if it was you or the next guy coming through the door. And it's definitely not the atmosphere that you get here. And I'm sure that I don't know if people can hear downstairs or not, but there's a whole room down there of people just laughing and having a good time, and it's it's just
that's a good feeling.
Yeah. It's just
it
really cool place.
The difference too is that this place is, I mean, if you if you drive up on it, you just think automatically that somebody with a lot of money has done this.
Right.
And that's all the locals had the same impression, and and it could not be farther from the truth. I mean, like we were very fortunate to have a guy willing to take a chance on us, and he was a relationship I had for several years. We were friends, but we weren't like close friends. So, but he was kind of the first guy I thought of, and it was really funny that he ended up being the one that, jumped all over the opportunity to help us.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so that's just another example, of why we don't. You're not going to see us poking our chest out, acting like we're better than anybody because we've got a really nice place. I mean, it's just a building, but it's what happens inside here with the people.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes it really awesome.
I mean, dude, my dad's a farmer, his dad's a metal worker, and Aaron's dad's a dog trainer. So it's like,
We just had Barton come up here, making sure everything's in order for the morning. Some of the guys are they traveling tomorrow and they want to?
No, we don't have anybody leaving until Sunday. Gotcha. Sunday and Monday, yeah.
So how did the name come about? Did that take a minute?
No, no. I saw it a while back. I don't even remember where I saw it exactly, but I just fell in love with it and told them, and they agreed. And
it fits for sure.
Yeah, it was a cool brand. I just thought it'd be a cool brand, and John David agreed with it, and something simple and not too long, not too short.
Yep.
We just thought it'd be and I could kind of picture a logo, and I called my brother. Of course, he kind of told him
do it up.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh. We do give Jeremy a lot of credit, but Josh is extremely artistic. So I mean, he knew exactly what he wanted in a logo. It's like he said, man, when he thought of FowlCo, he knew exactly what it was going to look like. So
yeah.
We got a bunch of jokers walking up here right now.
Yeah, we do.
Mr. Aaron Hitchens walking in. He's asking if anyone needs a refill currently. I think we're all right at the moment. Oh, no. He is. All right, so what is the next step for FowlCo? Where do you guys, any changes after the, almost halfway through the
first season,
inaugural season?
Yeah. I mean, I think number one, we got to get this place booked out solid, which we're we're not going to have any trouble doing that.
Right.
I didn't really ever worry about that all that much because I knew their connections and, the connections I'd already made doing this for a while. And, so yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue, but like what's really cool is that our customers have been overwhelmed by it, by the people and the operation and the place and the food and all those things. But like I'm a really high type A, and so like there's all kinds of things that aren't right to me, and I feel like if we're doing as well as we're doing with things not being out of, some things being out of whack, then if I can get it to where I really want it, we're gonna be,
where you want to be.
We're gonna be exactly where we want to be.
I take a look at you, and I don't think you'll ever stop trying to improve.
No,
just
man.
in your mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing our investor, he kind of beat me over the brow with, but I mean he didn't have to tell me. I knew that already, but it was a good reminder. Like, don't ever get comfortable. It can all go away as quickly as it got here, and so we're not gonna do that. We're gonna try to stay relevant, try to stay fresh, and always give our customers the absolute best experience we can deliver.
All right, so let's go around. What is the biggest difference? Me coming from Pennsylvania, the Atlantic Flyway, that is just not. It's not even in the same league as Arkansas or anywhere in the Central Flyway. When I come out here, if I was trying, even if I went on a couple guided hunts, if I came out and hunted with you guys 10 times a year, if I tried to step into the shoes of an outfitter and have paying clients coming out, I would be lost. You know what I mean? So from Arkansas, the timber, the mallards, what has been the biggest adjustment or the biggest learning curve that you've had? You're seeing lessers, you're seeing snows, you're seeing pintails, everything, and some guys, you have Sam Soholt that's been hunting 20 years. He's like, man, I just want one pintail. So the pressure that
he got it today, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he got it.
That thing's in the freezer.
Yeah,
he's ready to go home.
Yeah.
But I mean, the pressure of just the guys sitting around talking, like, it's not, I need this, but I know you guys hear it, and that gets on your shoulders a little bit. You know what I mean? So what has been the hardest thing to go from the timber into fields or ponds, or, is it a lot of the scouting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas, you usually know where you're going to go. You know right where you're going to be every single day. Out here, it's the size of the area. We usually don't know till dark 30 the night before where we're going to be. So setting up at night, I mean, getting everything ready to go for the next morning, that's been the biggest struggle is, having to scout such a wide area and come back versus the place I got it at outside Stuttgart for so long. I went to the same Oxbow Lake off the White River every day of duck season for eight years, every day. And so it was no question where I was going to go. That's where I was going to go. We were going to hunt traveling ducks, where over here, you get on concentrations that are feeding or transitioning to a feed or those types of places. So that's been the biggest challenge and adjustment for me is just the extra scout preparation to have to know right where you're going to be every day to put somebody on the eggs.
Yeah, I think for me, kind of like Aaron was talking about, in Arkansas, there's so much water, and here, these like Aaron was saying, these this waterfowl they congregate in these dry fields, and they get on patterns, and I think for me, I've never had to think about that. Like Aaron said, there was never a question where we were going. We had really good holes that we knew we were going to kill ducks on, and when there was ducks in the area, we were going to kill them in those holes.
Right
over here, there's not like a good hole. I mean, you're chasing all day, and we have, our guides, sometimes they don't even get to hunt. They're just scouting, and they'll put, 500 miles on their truck a day looking for birds and staying with them and patterning them and knowing like what time they're coming to loaf or what time they're actually going to feed. And, it's definitely a lot more labor intensive.
Yeah.
But it can also be way more rewarding.
Yep.
For what we've experienced, it has been more rewarding.
Right.
And I think it keeps the birds fresh. I think they're not getting a stale, because you really are surprising them.
Yep.
all the time. So
Yeah, that's the kicker. And I kind of understood it a little bit, because I've been coming out here for a little while. And so, we have at least 4 guys every morning and every afternoon on the road in every direction, trying to find the X, or at least 2 X's most days, which is a little bit more challenging at times. But it's, I've never really I've goose hunted, but I wouldn't call myself a goose hunter. And I'm having to learn how to be a goose hunter still.
Same.
I've been a duck hunter for a while, but, the goose game is still fresh. And thank God we've got 5 really, really well-rounded guides that are goose hunters, and they're, good ones.
Oklahoma boys.
Oklahoma goose hunters, yeah. So they kind of prop us up, and we, when it comes to duck stuff, we kind of understand why mallards do what they do, and we can figure them out. But the goose stuff, I think the goose hunting kind of humbles us more than the duck hunting does,
sure.
because they're a lot seemingly more unpredictable. And we argue all the time about what the best type of hide is, we got to lay in whites, or we got to use nothing but silhouettes, or we got to use nothing but socks, and it's like this works or that works. And I don't think at the end of the day any of us really can pinpoint what works the best, the most.
Right.
It's just one of those deals, like every day's different, and you've got to adapt to whatever the environment is and whatever their pattern is, and try to figure it out. And so that's, like, to me, been the hardest thing. I haven't been frustrated by the duck hunting out here much, other than, sometimes ducks get here a little bit later and we've got geese and nothing but geese to deal with early in the season. But the goose hunting is.
And you guys stepped into a bad year, from what everyone's saying about the hatch on the lessers. Like,
right.
It's not, even though you see just thousands and thousands, it's not what the Central Flyway usually has.
Right.
And then,
they're older birds, too.
Right, you're hunting 3 or 4 year old birds.
Yeah.
But they know the game a little more than what those juvies do. And same with the snows. They're, we did see some dark ones today. They weren't pure white, so might be getting a little push. I think you guys have some new birds in the area, which is helpful.
I will say this, just so everybody hears this that's listening. I came out here with a mallard purist viewpoint. Like, all I cared about hunting were mallard ducks. Anything else was just collateral damage. And I'll tell you that coming out here and being on several really good lesser hunts, it is by far as cool and as much fun. I think it's more fun, to be honest with you. When you've got those big groups of lessers, like, doing what they're supposed to do, it is as good as any kind of waterfowl hunting you're ever going to experience.
Yeah.
So, like, we get a lot of guys that, they say, we just want to shoot ducks. And it's like, well, you just say that because you've never had a really good lesser goose hunt,
right.
or probably not any kind of really good goose hunt, period. But so, for the people that are out there that don't think that goose hunting's fun, you need to try it and get on a good one.
And that's especially if you're coming from a different flyway that doesn't have lessers. So we have honkers. We have a lot of geese. We can go and crush geese whenever we want. The ducks, you come out here, you see all the ducks. Man, I want to hunt ducks. And then you're like, all right, I've seen some cool things on TV, lessers. Well, the first good lesser hunt I was on was last month up in Kansas. And that, I don't know if my heart rate was so high or what was going on, but, there's like 200 birds floating right to left and 300 birds above them going left to right. And I'm going on the call. And I got dizzy to where I literally had to take a second because I don't know if my eyes were crossing or what was going on, but like you said, it gets you excited. It gets you pumped
I remember
up.
the first good goose hunt I came on out here, dude. I'm not even trying to tell anybody that I'm like a professional goose hunter. I'm still learning this stuff. But now we do know how to get ducks. But and so I've always kind of prided myself as being a duck hunter, and first goose hunt I went on out here, we killed 88 lessers. And after the hunt, I looked at Aaron and I was so jacked, like you were talking about, your heart rate is just. I looked at Aaron and I said, well, bud, I think I'm a goose hunter now. Like, that did it for me right there. It was pretty special. So, yeah, Josh is right, man. Like, we do love watching mallards work, any kind of ducks work, not just mallards. But, the goose hunting's gotten in my blood a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's an eye opener when that happens. So, I definitely see the team atmosphere here. Do you guys, as guides yourself and owners, how much do you rely on your guides that you have, and how much do you, I don't want to say second guess them, but just second guess like a plan, just because coming from Arkansas and coming into a new territory like this, should we put out 10 dozen decoys? Should we put out 60 dozen decoys? Like how much of that is going through your mind when you're thinking about it?
I mean, we made it pretty clear with them that, like, if things were going to go south, we wanted it to be our fault, at the end of the day. And that doesn't mean that, at some point those guys won't have the opportunity to take the reins. I mean, you asked how big of a part that we could not do this without
absolutely
everyone.
not.
Mm-hmm.
And they have all been amazing.
They have proven themselves.
They've proven themselves. They're trustworthy. They work their rears into the ground every day, and they earn every nickel of what we pay them. And they're really, really good people. They're all really, really good guys, and I hope we get to keep all of them for the long haul. I doubt that'll happen, but I hope we do. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of lost my train of thought here. What was the question again?
How he was?
Do you ever second guess?
Yeah. So that's funny because I do. I mean, naturally, like I'm an analytical kind of guy, and I want to know why they want to do what they want to do, because they all have opinions, and sometimes they agree, and sometimes they even disagree amongst themselves, and sometimes we agree with them, and sometimes we disagree with them. But I mean, it's really cool because you just got to get the ego out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Waterfowlers by and large are pretty egomaniacal, and we've all been guilty of it at times. But you got to get that out of the way, man, because it's not about us. It's about what's going to provide the best experience for your customers.
Right.
And that is by far the biggest thing. So, like, you just get the egos out of the way, and let's have a discussion, not an argument. About like why are we doing what we're doing, and I don't think we've had any. And we've probably popped off a few comments towards one another where it's like,
that's just part of it.
You think you know everything, and at the end of the day, though, like, these guys are young. They're all young, and we can throw that. We've all been doing it for 20 years or more card out there, and it's like, but no, we don't do that very often. We give them. I think we give them a lot of let their input be a huge part of the equation.
Factor.
Yeah, it's huge.
Man, I would say, kind of like Josh was saying, we wouldn't be able to do this without them. I mean, they're the ones that are finding the birds most, like 99% of the days.
Right.
So they're the ones scouting. They're the ones seeing what's going on. They're the times, they know what times the birds are showing up places. And, at the end of the day, it's about your hide, and it's about being where the birds want to be.
Yep.
And so, I think we all know how to do that, but it's finding the birds, and that's what they're so good at.
And they're all Oklahoma boys.
Yeah,
too.
they're all Oklahoma.
So, I mean, that's the reason we wanted to hire local guys that had been out here. And another God thing, like, out of the blue, we just had 3 dudes that have all guided out here in this area for a while, at least a few years. And here they are, and we hired them, and they all ended up being. I mean, I told these two in the beginning, like, there's no way we're going to be able to keep everybody. Like, we're gonna end up firing somebody before the season's over, and I don't see that happening. I mean, I really don't. I think we've really lucked out into having 5, 6 really, really high quality guides, that all know how to do it.
Yeah.
And
something I've
care a lot about it.
Really enjoyed watching is how Josh talked about in the early part of it. It was more of an argument and and egos combating each other, and slowly over the course of the last 6 weeks, those meetings in the evening to figure out where we're going to hunt have turned into like a team deal where everybody's putting in input on what they've seen on that particular spot, and so it's teamwork. It's all us gathering together, and the more we consistently do that, our hunts get better and better and better and better, where everybody's putting it aside and come together, grind their information together, and then that's what's really leading us to the birds every day.
And you can tell, like, you have good guys. They come in here too, and I don't know what your team meetings or the laws you guys laid down on them, but they're they're just as cool as anyone else, you know,
Man,
and respectful, and
Yeah.
and it's a good change of pace from what you see at a lot of places.
Yeah,
So
it's just leading by example. I
Yeah.
mean, we've all tried to make it really apparent to them that we're going to get in there and do everything that they do, and we're going to work just as hard, if not harder, and all that stuff. And you know, we razz each other and give each other a good time. But I think these guys all know that we legitimately care about them as people. You know, I think at this point they all realize that.
right.
And man, it's like you can feel the loyalty like really getting entrenched here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Definitely a team feeling. You can, I mean, from the minute you walk in, you know, people greeting you and hey, I'm, you know, just introductions and just really.
And that's a hard thing to do.
It is.
You know, that's not easy because it's, you know, to be able to get that type of brotherhood mentality where like I am my brother's keeper type thing. We've got that kind of already.
And to find a hunter that is a people person, which I think you have to have as a guide, because like you can be out there, you can kill some birds, but like I said, if you're not talking to clients, if you're not interacting, having a good time, those guys, they remember that, you know, when it comes to booking again. So
yeah, I said this for a while, man. I mean, the really truly professional guides separate themselves from the crowd when the hunting or the fishing is terrible.
Yep.
That's when the real, what I consider true professional guides shine.
Yep.
You know, anybody can look like a hero when the hunting or fishing's good, but when it's really tough and those people are still coming back, that's the difference. You know.
That's what he said. You can kill 3 birds, but if that guide has kept your attention and made it fun, and you know, at the end of the day, it's still hunting. It doesn't matter how much you scout. You know, you can have a blizzard come through. You can have 4 inches of rain and wash the roads out. You can't even get to.
Yeah, and you're hunting wild migrating birds.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we have no control over them.
Right.
So
I think something that people will notice when they come to FowlCo is that 3 of us are involved in every aspect of it.
Yeah.
When it comes to the food, we're out there on every single hunt. I mean, we're involved in every single thing that a person can do here. Airport runs, it doesn't matter. Just because, you know, we're all part owners in this place doesn't mean that we're not going to be in control of every element of it.
Very involved, down to the prayer before dinner time, which is awesome as well. All right, so we're 47, 48 minutes in already. Let's do a quick rundown. What can people expect when they come to FowlCo? What do you guys provide as far as can they rent a gun here? Can they bird cleaning? Your range out there.
Yeah,
you know,
so like a typical trip, people will they'll either drive or we pick them up from the airport, and we provide transportation to and from. And so they show up. We kind of show them around in the lodge, get them settled into a room. Normally, we try to wait till it gets dark for them to go and shoot the 5-stand range we've got because it's lit and it's really cool shooting in the dark. It's a whole different dynamic shooting in the dark for some reason. I can't tell you why. I don't really care about shooting in the daytime anymore.
It's like they glow.
It's just
like
cool. Yeah, there's something cool about it. And so we do that, and then we'll come back and have, you know, drinks, appetizers, and whatnot, and then we'll have a dinner. And we haven't really talked about our chef, Brian Pilgreen, and we're December 28th, so we've been going for about a month and a half now. And I mean, we all knew Brian's food was really, really good, but like, it's amazing the response we've got about his food. I mean, we've had people tell us this is not just the best food I've ever had at a lodge. This is like some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
Right.
Anywhere I've eaten.
That's why I started out with that question. I don't know how you guys are in shape because, I mean, you can easily put down
17-hour work days.
You put 7,000 calories down in one sitting.
Well, I will tell you too. You know, as amazing as that food is, after 2 weeks of having the steak, you kind of just want a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, I mean, like I just love the story because Brian, our cook, and Aaron guided together at Wildlife Farms for 8 years. Like, Brian is one of the most savage duck guides from Arkansas. And when we started this thing, you can tell this story, Aaron, you know.
I called Brian and said that FowlCo was happening, and I, of course, you know, wanted him to come be a guide here,
Yeah.
work with me, shoulder to shoulder, like we have for years. And anybody that's a real duck hunter and been to Arkansas may understand this, but he asked me if we had any flooded timber over here in Oklahoma, and I said, no, Brian, we don't. He said, y'all have any big oxbow lakes I can cut down old in over there, break down mallards? And I said, no, Brian, we don't have that. He said, what's the weather like? And I said, windy. He said, man, I'll come over there and be the chef. That was his word. As awesome, hardworking, loyal person as he is, I'd take him in any capacity. So that's another blessing that is just, walked right into our laps on this deal.
And he's also really excited to be a part of this, which we're so thankful for. Because, man, I'm telling you, like, we've had people talking about wanting to just not even hunt, just come back and stay and bring their wives and eat.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's something. That's just, I feel like, let's just add that to the. We're going to chalk that one up for the Lord because, we just knew that the things we can't control the hunting. We can control what we do to prepare for the hunt, but we can't control the birds.
Right.
But we knew that everything that we could provide here, we wanted it to be on point.
Yep.
And, obviously the food was one of them. Mm-hmm. And so we're just so thankful to have somebody that we trust so much, that will never be out of control, that is going to be very consistent in his meals, to be handling that.
Yeah, Brian
and
measures.
He puts freaking time in, man.
He measures stuff to the grain. I mean, every time you eat anything out here, it is exactly the same as it was the last time. I mean, it's the most consistent food I've ever eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, and that's just his personality.
It's funny that you said that about the wife too, or bringing your wife back. I was talking to my wife and I showed her your website and I was like, well, here's the lodge that I'm staying at. She goes, are you going on a honeymoon with a bunch of guys? And I was like,
hey, that's kind of what we want this experience to be.
Yeah, pretty much, but we're going to go and, kill some
shoot
ducks.
stuff in the face.
Yeah. But
let me get back to what we got sidetracked because I brought up Brian and we all love Brian, so it's easy to do that. But so anyway, when you come back, you'll have dinner. We'll get up in the morning. We'll have coffee and a light breakfast, and then we'll go. Usually take two separate groups, and predominantly we hunt dry fields, but we have access to a lot of watershed lakes and ponds and some river access and stuff like that. And so really, we've been really fortunate. Another God thing, man. I mean, we were. The one thing I was really nervous about is I'd kind of been told by some certain people that it was going to be really tough to come out here and break through to the locals, especially doing something with this size of footprint, because we're the only thing out here. Right. I mean, you've seen it, Dan. We're the only thing out here.
Right.
There's nothing else for miles other than wind turbines.
Yep.
So, we were able to. This is a really cool part of this whole thing is I'm out here last year, the very first day that Harold and I showed up. John David and Aaron hadn't come out yet. The very first day I showed up, I drive into Garber, and I pull off the side of the road, and I see, there's like thousands of geese in this field. I'm watching these geese, and I'm not there 5 minutes. I'm on the phone, and a truck pulls up beside me. I'm like, oh man, I'm looking at somebody's field or whatever. And these two guys roll the windows down. They're like, what are you looking at? I said, well, I'm looking at these geese. And they're like, you want to hunt them tomorrow? And I'm like, hey, well, heck yeah, I do. They're like, well, follow us. So never met them in my life. They just pulled up out of the blue. So we go and drive around. Long story short, those guys are still really close friends of ours. And they were the kind of the reason that we were able to get one of our key landowners and, that we leased from.
Yeah.
And that snowballed into, other relationships. And those guys, it was just like this spider effect of, you meet one guy and he's got two or three other guys that you can talk to. And we really worked hard to try to build a massive foundation of land access.
Right.
And then by, sometime probably September, October, we had built enough good faith with people. We started having random guys calling and showing up, just asking if we'd be interested in leasing their ground too. And so, it's just all about doing what you say and
that's it.
And keeping your word and taking care of their property, and don't ever, don't treat it like it's yours. Treat it like it's theirs, and leave it better than when you found it. And man, we've had really good luck with that. And that's a huge part of what we do.
Yeah, I think also, man, us building this lodge, it gave us a lot of clout to be able to kind of convey to these farmers, look, we have way too much to lose to make you mad.
Right.
Like we want your sons to be leasing to our sons one day.
Right.
And so, I mean, and so that is, I think that's what separated us a little bit is, man, we kind of put all the chips on the table. You know what I mean?
Right.
For us.
Yep.
A farmer son, dog trainer son, and yeah, literally, they're right here in front of us. And a metalworker son, I mean, like, we don't have rich parents, I mean, we've got a debt to pay back.
Yep.
And so these farmers need to know that.
Yep.
We're not made of money. We've got to work our butts off to make this thing work.
Yeah. You just can't walk away.
No, and we can't mess up a relationship.
And Garber's a tiny little town, I mean, there's not much there, and all of these towns around here are the same way until you get to Enid, and Enid's a pretty big town, but all of these small towns are mainly just farming communities, and so it's a big area, but it's very few people. So everybody knows each other, knows each other's secrets and all that stuff. But what's really cool is like we've tried to assimilate, and try to become a part of the community. And so, we've been to the Lions Club meeting. It wasn't very many people there, but we went, and it's really cool because the community by and large, they've stopped by, when we were under construction and asked questions, and you can just kind of see that they're really proud to have this out here because there's just nothing out here,
Right.
and it's really, you can kind of feel that, and so we don't take that for granted, like we want them to continue to feel that way, and we're trying to do things to, build that even greater.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of these farmers, man, that we've met, I mean, just all the people that we met have just been so awesome. But a lot of the farmers, it went from can we hunt your land to like a true friendship.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool to see that form, and that they know that we're not just out to hunt their land.
Right.
Like, I mean, they can call us if they need anything.
Right.
It's just been cool how that has just organically happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in a big way.
yeah.
Yeah. Talk of the town, talk of social media. Where can the listeners find everything? I'm looking at FowlCoOutfitters.com as the website. FowlCo on Instagram, right? At FowlCo.
It's at FowlCo_Outfitters.
_Outfitters.
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Facebook
Just
page.
Check it out.
FowlCo Outfitters, and we've got a new phone number. It's been my cell phone for a while now, and we've got you can still get to all three of us off of that phone number, but we've got a local gal who, her name's Riley, and she's going to handle all of our bookings and client communications and stuff. And so when you call that number, the first option will go to her. And
you got that number on you?
Yeah, it's actually 844-4-FowlCo or 844-436-9526.
Nice. Well, guys, in a day and age when usually handshakes don't mean too much and words don't mean too much, you guys are doing it right. And, you're keeping everything real. It's super cool to see.
Thank you.
Great place out here.
Man.
I appreciate the invite.
So glad you're here.
I got to say one thing, man. We didn't mention our wives at all.
Oh God!
So I don't want to get
There
in
you
trouble.
go.
No, yeah.
Now look, like my wife works a full-time job and is at Walmart, works at Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas, and she's been there for 16 years, and we have 3 boys, and they're 11, 7, and 2, and I'm gone for 4 months out of the year to do this. So it's a huge sacrifice, and she needs to hear me tell her how much I appreciate it.
Yeah, mine too, man. I've got 3 kids too, 9, 6, and 4, and it is hard being over here. And my wife has been an absolute rock star, but she sees the passion that we have for it, and she sees the opportunity that we have.
Yep.
And she knows Mindy knows my strengths, and she's just like, man, this is like God set you up for this.
Yep.
So anyway, super, super thankful.
My lovely wife, Danis, stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I've drug her through the duck guide muck for a solid 12 years now. So props to her for sure.
So there are angels on earth.
That's
so
right.
ladies,
We're married to them.
ladies, we thank you very much. And my wife doesn't listen to the podcast because she thinks it's weird to hear my voice.
You got a great radio voice.
I appreciate
You really do.
if I'm not coughing like I have been the last 2 months. But But if you are listening, thanks for letting me come out as you watch our little rascals. And guys, I appreciate it. And we got a couple more hunts here before I head out. So, one last thing. If you do fly in and you're coming up the toll roads, it's almost 2019, and as Barton found out, you will have to take an exit and get cash out because they do not take a credit card. So if you are coming out here, have $3.75 or whatever.
No, you're gonna need to bring back $20.
So, guys, thanks again.
Thank you, Dan.
I think the guys are probably getting into the brown water downstairs and getting rowdy. So we'll go play around and chat it up. So,
awesome.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks
Thank you
again.
so
Thank you,
much.
Dan.
Appreciate it.
All right. Again, we want to thank the guys from FowlCo for having Dan and the crew out there. And, I know just talking to Dan over the weekend via text and stuff, he's having a blast and just had a really fantastic weekend. So, again, thank you to the guys out there, and certainly encourage everybody to check them out if you're looking for a hunt. So as we wind down this episode again, I don't have a lot more to add, and I just want to basically take a second to thank everyone for supporting us through 2018. It's been a fantastic year here at HP Outdoors. We're looking forward to 2019. You will see a few changes with the show coming up, all for the better, we feel. And I think it'll be a lot of the same quality content that you've been enjoying, and hopefully some new stuff that we'll be able to add in that you'll also enjoy. So if you have not yet, make sure you follow us on social media and all that good stuff. Get involved with the HP Outdoors listeners group on Facebook. Join that community, and again, embrace everything that we've got coming to you for 2019. But before we take off this week, I just want to take a minute again to thank Gunner Kennels, The Ridge, Lucky Duck, 737 Duck and Goose Calls, Mustang Survival, and Camp Chef. Again, head over to the HP Outdoors discount page and make sure you take advantage of any discount codes if you're in the market for any of that gear that we mentioned. All right, without Dan to have one more thing to throw at us this week, we'll go ahead and get us out on that. All right, that's going to do it for episode 115. Again, thanks to the guys out of FowlCo for having Dan, and the guys for a great, awesome weekend. If you're new to the show, head over to iTunes. We love 5-star ratings and reviews, and you can catch up on all the past episodes there and spread the word. We appreciate all of the new listeners that we had join the show in 2018, and looking forward to adding more to the community in 2019. That's going to do it for me this week. Happy New Year. Until next time, for Dan, I'm Josh. Take care.